Hi, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. I am Kenyatta the healer. I am Kenyatta the architect. On this channel, we destroy and build simultaneously, for there can be no resurrection without destruction. Once again, I'm Kenyatta, but you will refer to me as Miss Kenyatta, Queen, Goddess, Empress, Ma'am, High Priestess, or whatever I tell you to refer to me as. I have no enemies. The enemies of God have been defeated, but if God is the creator of both the good and the evil, the light and the dark, God has no enemies. Ye are gods. As well, loving goodwill, taken care of within, eliminates that without. Get this together. I will not tolerate anyone stalking me, harassing me, bullying me, being common with me, or anyone who genuinely supports me on my platform. Affirmations and repeat. I am wonderful. I am marvelous. I am magnificent. I am splendid. I am perfect. I am thankful, I am grateful, I am loved, I am loved, I am loving, I am lovable, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise. I am the master and creator of my own fate. I am the master and creator of my own destiny. I am my fate, I am my destiny. I am the all that is, all that ever was, and ever shall be. Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining early. I'm not going to do a reading, well, not right now. I might, but I don't think so. I just got some various topics that I want to discuss. I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day yesterday. I know I did. My daughter made me breakfast on the electric griddle that she bought me. I'm not that great at making pancakes, okay? And I was like, we need an electric griddle. And here she comes walking through the door with an electric griddle. Happy Mother's Day. And she got me some perfume. It hasn't arrived yet, but she got me a brand that she knows I like. It's not the same scent, but the same brand. So I thought that was really sweet. And we just sat back and chilled. She's got me watching Yellow Jackets on Showtime, and we are on season 3. I think did we get 2 episodes in or 3 episodes in? I can't remember. I just think I love the show. I just think it's interesting. Go and watch a whole lot of TV. But she picks out some good shows. She had me watch Squid Games. I had heard people making reference to it, but I didn't know what it was, and then we watched that. But we like movies, together. That's a thing we do, watch movies and whatnot, go to the movies and everything. And we really were big into Marvel. We still like Marvel. We just haven't been into it like we used to be. And horror. Horror movies, okay. I think we watched Gaia. Did we get through all of the Saws? I think we got like one more Saw movie to watch. Huh? 2 more. She told me 2 more Saw movies to watch. So what I'm going to do, I was going to do this yesterday. I did not realize it was Mother's Day during the week. And that yesterday was going to be Mother's Day. And it was pointed out to me by someone. And I said, oh, yeah, that's right. So we just hung out together, me and my daughter, and I didn't come through. Now, you see me make some pendulums. Like I said, I used to make pendulums, and I was getting back to it. And another thing that I used to make, when I first went public with my readings, I started a Facebook page with my name, not my good government name, but my name, Kenyatta Neferkare. I was initiated into a Kemetic temple, given the name Neferkare, which was a pharaoh. And then a sister I met gave me, well, she didn't give it to me. She channeled the name Numika from my past life. So I started using Numika. So it was a great Facebook page that I had. It was fun. I set out to get like 5,000 followers, which I did, mostly black women. And I would do readings on there, free pendulum readings. Every Friday night I would do guided meditation. I was in a Facebook group as a reader. What else did I do on that channel? That's pretty much it. And then just offer readings here and there. And then I made a scent that was channeled to me. Okay. Now when I made this scent, I made it simply for smell. That was it. Okay. But when you get into this game here and this word, people do attack you. Okay. People who claim you have helped them wonderfully. And here they come with the attacks. And someone pointed out, well, whatever that you might have helped them, whatever that energy or spirit is that's in them, that you didn't help them to see is a problem, is upset. And I said, well, that makes sense too. But So I made a scent, and I found that one time I was having an issue with someone attacking, and I was told put that scent on, and I did, and I found that the person, they couldn't get in the areas where I put the scent. I was like, oh, it's protective as well. No, I will not share with you how or what deity or channeled the scent to me. So I made that when I was selling it. What was it called? I didn't have a name for it, but one of the first women who bought it, she said it smells so. I had one called Kenyatta's Enchantment, but that was my second one. I can't remember the name of it, but she said it smells so, whatever that word is. I have to look it up because it's been a long time. And I said, oh, I like that. Maybe that's what I call it, and I did. So I haven't made it in so long. I went to get the fragrances for it. Here they are. I'm going to make it here while I'm on this live. Unfortunately, this is not all of them because, like I said, it's been a long time. Hold on. Since I made this fragrance here. And I can say fragrance / protective oil. I didn't sell it as a protective oil. When I was selling it, I didn't realize that it was. But that channeled the fragrance to me, knew that it was and that it would be. So it's been quite a few years since I made it, and I wanted to make it again. 3 of the oils, one of them they no longer make, which is a sin and a damn shame, because that fragrance, and I'm not going to divulge any of these fragrances or what it was, that fragrance was the best smelling fragrance to me out of all of them. And when I was talking to the guy at the oil store, he said it is. I said, why did they stop making? He said, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 others that he simply was out of. But I was called and led to make this again. It's been on me for a minute. So I'm going to make this as I talk. Here's my bottle. It's got a little frankincense in the bottom of it. Okay, I love frankincense. Frankincense, the very first time I smelled, I'm not sure, that doesn't smell like frankincense. What is that? Doesn't smell like frankincense. I'm not sure what that is. But the very first time I smelled frankincense and myrrh, I was dating this guy when I was in college. His name was Mark, last name Dixon. So people called him MD or Doc. I didn't know anything about twin flames and all that type of shit back then. Okay, I had heard soulmate, but if I ever had one, I believe it was him. But nevertheless, that was a long time ago. But when I would enter his abode, where he lived, his spirit and essence was just beautiful, and it would fill up the entire room. And I just loved visiting with him and spending time with him. He's a very different, very unusual person, and he and I had a lot in common. We had the same nickname as children. And he was the person that I would find finishing my sentences like word for word. But I don't want to go too deep into that. But anyway, he had this oil I had never smelled. I was thinking, was I a junior? I was a senior in college. I went to school in D.C. I went to Howard. So for anybody who's familiar with the D.C. area back then, I can't say it's the same now. Back then, they called it Chocolate City. It most definitely was. And, vendors everywhere. I mean, the campus would be packed with vendors, black vendors. And, they would sell the, oils, body oils, fragrances. And he had mixed. I said, what is that smell? It was heavenly. It smells so good. It was mixed. It was a mixture of frankincense, myrrh that he mixed himself. I mean, I know you can get frank and myrrh mixed, but he mixed it himself. And another scent. I don't remember the other scent, and I forgot. So it's almost like I forgot as soon as you told me, but I remembered the frankincense and myrrh. So I went and got some for myself because I love the smell and I was in love with him. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to smell him all the time. Okay. And I went and got the frank and myrrh, and I have been wearing frankincense and myrrh oil ever since then. I'm not gonna go in depth with the way I wear it. Okay, and you may think, well, how do you wear it? Don't you just put it on? I'm not gonna go in any kind of depth with the way I wear it. Okay, some things you keep private. I remember I was driving Lyft one time, and I picked up this girl, this Asian girl, at one of the colleges here. She got in the car. She smells so damn good. I picked her up, and then I had to go pick up her friend. She smells so goddamn good. I was like, what is that? I mean, she smelled good. I said, what is that you have on? And she kept avoiding, you know, the conversation. But I kept asking her, you know, and finally she told me with hesitation. And I honestly, to this day, I don't even know if that's truly what she had on. And I was like, why didn't she want it? And it's like, because some things you keep private. And I felt like women, there are some things that you are supposed to keep, you know, to yourself about what you do and how you do it. And I found that sometimes, now I ain't going to say every single person, so please, okay? I got my dropper here, okay? Oh, I know what this is. This is, that's what this is. Oh, it smells so good. This is not frankincense. I went to Egypt, and when I went to Egypt, they took us to a store, an oil store, where they said some of the top designers, as far as fragrances and perfumes are concerned, they get their base for some of their perfumes from that particular store. And I just got a whole bunch of them, and I mixed them together, and this is the last of it. Okay, but anyway, I felt that at the time I said, you know, I feel like women of other cultures, and I'm not saying that, you know, in our culture, black culture, that this did not occur, but I don't feel like it does not. It's like nothing is private anymore. Nothing is secret. Nothing is mysterious. And I feel like women should hold a mystery, not just let it all out. So, you know, obviously with me saying that, I see some things on the internet that I feel like, you know, it's supposed to be private. You know, it's not about being a prude. It's just there's certain mystery that I feel like a person should have, as opposed to letting their whole world be known. And I felt that when she was so holding it so tightly, and I was like, well, she doesn't know me. I'm not her friend. We don't have any connection or anything, but it's still like but that's okay. It's still some things you want to keep that mystery. You want to keep it as yours. Now, I am one to say they make this shit, they make whatever she had on, they make millions of them out there. You know what I'm saying? For people to buy. This is, you know, capitalism. But I still understand the idea of keeping and holding some things to yourself, okay, about who you are. I feel, especially as women. I don't know men, you know, whatever. I guess probably men too, but I definitely feel as women. And I don't feel as though definitely my generation, and damn sure the ones thereafter, were taught that. You know, I remember my aunt, a lady who raised me, her brother was a salon owner. And his wife, my aunt, did my hair. Since I can remember, since I was a little girl. There was somebody I went to before that, but according to the lady who raised me. And I kind of remember, but nevertheless, when she would do my hair, there was a woman, a white woman would come into that salon to talk to her. And they would go into the bathroom. However long they went in, my aunt would get the wheel, the color wheel, go in the bathroom, and they just be in there, and then they come out. And the lady would say, okay, and leave. I was young, you know. I was like, well, what's that all about? And I think I asked, I don't know if I asked my aunt or lady who raised me, but they were telling me that, well, it's private. She's talking to her about her hair color, what she gonna get next, blah, blah. But it's private, and I was young, so I'm thinking, well, why? You know what I'm saying? Why is it private? She's in the salon, you know what I'm saying? She in the beauty shop, but I do understand now. Now, I didn't count, I think I put in how many drops. I'm not going to use all the drops. I mean, like the whole bottle. I got to test it first. Okay. And I remember looking at some old pictures of beauty salons where they would be, each stall, each chair, it would be partitioned off, with like a curtain or whatnot, so that, you could not see what was being done, the private thing that was being, because some things, it might be, I don't know if I should use the word embarrassing, maybe not embarrassing, but maybe, maybe the woman has on a wig and you take that wig off, she doesn't have any hair. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like some things have to be kept private and personal. That's not the world we live in right now, but that's the show enough world I learned to live in after some of the things I have encountered dealing with people, especially women. Because, people talk a lot about the destiny swapping and people trying to take your energy and your essence and all of that type of thing. And I damn sure have dealt with that. I will never again. I used to just be an open book, you know what I mean? And I will never again, besides my daughter, share certain things. When that Asian girl did that in my car, she just opened my eyes. It's like, it is private. It is, and this is what I do, find what you do for yourself. Again, they make that perfume for anybody, but, and I still wouldn't have thought it was any harm, because I don't know her. Me and her ain't gonna hang out no time soon. But I have encountered that with people that I have spent time with. I was in a Whole Foods way back in the day. They had been here for a minute. They used to sell these oils. I think some of them still do. I don't know if that particular one does anymore, but they used to sell these oils. And I went in there one time, and there was smelled this oil. That shit smelled so fucking divine. Okay, I was like, oh my God, it smells so good. Well, I had somebody with me later on that I thought, when you inexperienced and you learn about people and you learn about life, and I thought this was someone that I could trust at the time. And I had not seen her do this before, but I saw it that day. And it kind of opened my eyes, and I kept it private. What I keep private? What my eyes was opened up to. And I said, oh, come on here, girl, smell this oil. It smells so good. And then she snatched that oil so quick out my fucking hand. Like, it's mine. Oh, okay. She bought it, and when there was a young man that she worked with who smelled it and liked it, and he went and got it himself. And she was so distraught and hurt that he went and got that dust. I didn't say anything to her, but it's like, but that's exactly what you did to me. That's exactly what you did to me. You can buy it if you want to. I'm not a, stingy bitch. But if the thought of snatching it out of my hand, saying it's mine. No, this bottles ain't nobody's. It's the sample bottle. This belongs to the fucking store. But the spirit of it. And what she did to me was done to her, but she didn't learn that lesson. But nevertheless, this oil here, I'm not going to call it what I called it before, because I don't have all of the oils. And the one that I love the most, they don't make it anymore. So that oil was for then. This oil is for now. I don't know if I'm going to sell it. I was selling it, and one lady, she got I can't remember what her issue was, what her problem was, but something about her was off-putting for me. And I had sold it to her. She wanted more. And I may not have even had any more at the time. I had to re-up. And she made a statement. She said, well, that's okay. I know where I can get it from. And what I felt was off-putting, she showed, she confirmed that for me. Because, no, you don't know where you can get this from. Because I have not divulged this recipe to anyone, not even my daughter. No one knows what this is. And the man at the oil store, I'm just buying oils. He don't know what the hell I'm buying it for. So no one knows what's in this formula. Okay. So, I only put, see, I didn't put the whole bottle in of any of them, but I got plenty of room left, so I'm going to. And I feel as though, no, this is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to do this, and that's okay. Because again, just like when I was making those pendulums and the waist beads I made and the beaded body chains that I made, it's like an artist. You see it in your mind's eye and you create it. This was something I wanted to do. So I spoke with who I spoke with. And again, they channeled what fragrances that I needed to get to make it. And not only did it smell damn good, but it was protection as well. And I didn't find out some months later. And I thought that was awesome. So I'm almost done with this. But I was saying that to say, you know, you have a vision or a thought and you just simply bring it to life. You know? You have a vision about what you want to make, and that's just like with anything. It could be an artistic piece or oil, fragrance, or with anything. It's the same thing with your life. You have a vision, like some, you know how they have vision boards and stuff. But again, we understand that even with that, you can have a vision, but you have to put the work in. Okay. I had to put the work in. What was the work? Getting up off my ass, going to the store, and listening, and being open. Okay. It wasn't protection because I prayed over it, because I didn't. It was protection because that's what was given to me. And the deity knew that it would be protection. Okay, so I'm almost done. I married a man, he was Muslim. I'm married in Islam. He was part owner of an oil store, and he made his own oil. Listen, the man would come home smelling good all the time. I'm like, what do you have on? I talked about this, and he would just tell me, he said, babe, I don't know. He said, I just put on oils all day. I'll just grab and put them on, you know. And he would smell so good. And he was one that you would see behind the grocery store with his trunk open. Selling oils. And every time he's not living anymore. Every time I would see every time I would see him, he would stop me. Babe, you want to get married again? No, I don't. But he will always mix me up some nice oils and give it to me. Okay, so I'm done. I've cleared out all those bottles. There it is. I'm going to shake it up. Shake, 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 shake. And there, I have my oil. And yes, it smells divine, like I am. I met a sister. Well, I didn't actually meet her when I was doing my when I was on Facebook and I was doing those readings and stuff. I met a lady on there who told me, you know, she told me exactly where to put the oils, you know, for protection. She was, I believe she was Muslim. And I've been doing it ever since she told me. No, I will not share that on live. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about something. Well, let me see. I got 2 more topics to talk about. So fucking good. Smells so good. So good. I tried to do a man's fragrance. That shit didn't come out right. Because one lady was like, when I made it, one lady, I think she bought 2 or 3 bottles. She said her husband could not keep his hands off of her. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fragrance. It was it's so beautiful. And he wanted me to make one. She said, do you have one for me? And I was like, I don't. You know, I could try. And it just didn't have the same effect. You know, but that's okay. All right. So, hold on. Okay, I'm going to talk about something. I'm coming up out of my textbook again, okay? I've talked about it before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Now, my book is a hot freaking mess. This is a textbook I used, okay, when I was teaching comparative world religion. I wanted a whiteboard, but I have not tried to get one. Okay, I don't be thinking about it until I want to do something, and then I think about it, and it's like, well, you can just order it online, but I don't. I just don't. Okay, but eventually I will. But guess what? Paper and marker will freaking do. Now, I talked about this before. I did a religious study series on this channel, so I've talked about this before, but this was on my mind as I talk about it again. So if I'm giving something to do, you know, I feel that I can't say I do it all the time. I don't. And I'm learning to, when you are given something to do, a task, you talk about whatever it may be, you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like, well, I did it already, I did it once a long time ago, it doesn't matter. You don't know why you're being told to do that particular thing. You don't know why you're being called to talk about that again. Let me get my glasses. Okay, here they are. Okay, you don't know why you are being instructed to do it again. Okay, and they used to teach us when I was in church that if you do not use the gifts that you have been given, they will be taken and given to somebody else. Or if you don't gifts, or if you don't do what you are instructed to do, it will be taken from you and given to someone else to do. And that kind of goes into that, let me see if I can find it. That parable. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Is it the talents? The parable of the talents? Oh, Matthew 25:14, the parable of the talents. It tells of a master who entrusts his property to his servants before leaving on a journey. One servant receives 5 talents, another 2, and a third 1. The first 2 servants use their talents to increase their holdings, while the third buries his. Okay? And upon the master's return, he rewards the first 2 and punishes the third for his inactivity. You know, the third, he felt like, you know, he only had 1, and he thought the master was going to be pleased because he buried it, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, no, you need to use it, you know, and he was not pleased. I think he said, depart from me. Let me see, because I'm not rushing. Now, I tend to read from the King James Version all the time, simply because I grew up with that. Not that I think that's the right one, because we were, hold on. Okay, not because I think that's the right one or anything like that. But just simply that's the one I grew up with. Matter of fact, when I went to seminary, it was understood that so many different versions. You understand what I'm saying? But that was probably, the King James version was probably the least in terms of correct translation. Because you can't translate from one language to another perfectly. Okay. But anyway, so I that's the only reason I tend to read from that one, because that's just the one that I'm more familiar with. All right, so you get the New King James Version. Okay, so I believe he said each one who did something with the talent that he gave them, the one who got 5, he got 5 more talents. The master said, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. Same with the one who received 2 talents. He gained 2 more talents. Same thing. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Then the one who had the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the ground. He didn't multiply his talent. He didn't utilize his talent. Okay. Look there, what you have. Look there, you have what is yours. So he thought he did a good thing. Okay. But what did the master say to him? He said, you wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you ought to have, so since you knew that, you ought to have deposited my money in with the bankers, and it basically increased my share. Okay. And at my coming, I would have received back my own with interest. Then he says, therefore, take the talent from him and gave it to him who has 10 talents. He took his talent from him and gave it to the one who had 10, who had the most. Who got the most in the first place, but he increased it. So he knew he was going to increase it even more. Okay. He utilized all 5 of his talents, a lot of work, and increased those talents. Okay. I would say 100%. Okay. So he says, for to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And because he didn't have anything, he didn't do anything with what was given to him, and he took it away because you're lazy. You ain't gonna do shit with it. Okay. And cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But anyway, I was only saying that to say, so sometimes it's like, well, if you've been called to do a task, or to say something or do something, then it don't matter what you've done. You need to do. I'm talking about me. Do what you want to do. And I am a firm believer in people doing what they want to do. Okay. So what we're gonna talk about, what I'm gonna talk about real quick, is the yin yang. Okay. The yang and the yin symbol. I'm looking in the chapter on Taoism and Confucianism. Before the textbook goes into Taoism and Confucianism, it first talks about the indigenous or the traditional beliefs, Chinese beliefs. And here we find the yang and yin, or you typically hear it yin and yang. I'm just going to read real quick. I know people may not like to listen to just something just being read. Okay, but stay with me. After about 1000 BCE, before Christian era, the Chinese commonly thought that the universe expressed itself in opposite but complementary principles. Light and dark, day and night, hot and cold, sky and earth, summer, winter, etc., etc., male, female, etc., etc. Okay? What people may call duality. The list was virtually infinite. Male, female, right and left, front, back, up, down, out, in, sound, silence, birth, death, strong foods. Okay? And weak foods. You know, they talk about yin and yang foods. What a person may need more or less of one or the other. Here it is. Okay. Dynamic or odd numbers and even numbers. Dynamic being odd, even being stable. The names for the two complementary principles are yang and yin. They're not the same as good and evil. Yang is not expected to win over yin, or yin expected to win over yang. One is not good and one is not evil in the sense that we understand good and evil. Okay, or I'm hearing process in the sense that we process. Okay, that the terms. Okay, the ideal is a dynamic balance between the forces. I always would talk about this in school when I would teach Star Wars, for example. You have what's his name? Joseph Campbell, who was the man that did Star Wars. I can't think of his name right now, but he got a lot of his understanding to even write Star Wars from the works of Joseph Campbell, who traveled the world and studied culture and religion, so on and so forth. Okay. So when you talk about Star Wars, it can easily look like from the Western cultural perspective of, you know, a good winning over evil, and that's not at all what it was. They continuously said they were trying to bring balance back to what the force or the Tao. And we'll talk about that in a second. Just briefly, all this is going to be brief. Okay, not one winning over the other. Okay, the shit was just out of balance. Both were opposite yet complementary. Both were needed. Okay, otherwise it would throw off the balance of the force system. What kept things going? Okay. It is, the ideal is a dynamic balance between the forces. Okay, so you have the emblem. Okay, we all are familiar. I'm gonna draw it real quick. Okay. I love symbology. Love symbols. You know, a person, and we see it. People can live in the world without being able to read words, in which are letters, and which are nothing. Letters strung together, which are what? Letters are, the written letter is nothing but a symbol of what? A sound. And they're weaved together to make sounds and make words. But you will have people who cannot read those symbols for whatever reason that are strung together to make sounds. They'll make a word. The sounds weave together to make a word. But yet they can maneuver through life because it's symbology. Symbols every goddamn way. Numbers are symbols. For what? Amounts. Letters are symbols, again, for what? Sounds. Okay, so here we have our yin and yang symbol. Okay, we see it everywhere. All right? Okay. So the emblem of balance This is how the author is referring to this. The emblem or the symbol here of balance, of this balance, is the yin yang circle. Circle is divided into what looks like two intertwined commas. Okay, we see that. One half is light, representing what? Yang. The other is dark, representing yin. The light is the yang. I'm going to write that. The dark here represents yin. Now, inside each one, what do we have? Okay, you see the yang, you see the yin. But what do we have inside each side? A small dot of the opposite, or the opposing side. So in the yang, you have a small dot of the yin, and in the yin, you have a small dot of the yang. Okay? All right. Or he refers to the small dot as a seed. We plant seeds, and from that things grow. The dot suggests that everything contains. What does it suggest? Let's do this slowly. It's not slowly because I think anyone is dumb or stupid or anything like that. I remember when I was with the Hebrew community here, African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. Ben Ami was the founder of that particular community, or the leader. I think there was more than one founder, but he was the leader at that time. And shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, each city, in each city where there was the community was represented, each city was known for something. Okay, like Atlanta, the one in Atlanta, they had a big, beautiful complex. Honey, they had a barbershop. They had all type of shit going on. Okay, they were known for business, being business oriented. Here, the one in Cleveland was known for intellect, the intellect. Okay, why is that? Because that's what each, the leader or the prince or the Nasi focused on. So the one here, he was very much an intellect. So when he would do class, when he would teach class on Sundays, he would have one of the brothers up there with him. He's teaching, and a word, he'd come across a word, and the brother would have a dictionary, and he would tell them to look in the dictionary and look up the word and tell him the definition. Well, I've talked about this before at some point. People thought, there were some people who, I'm not saying in the community, but this was the word. Some people thought, well, what does he think we're stupid? No, it has nothing to do with that. But, you need to understand what words mean. Meaning of words. The word is not a word just for the sake of being there. It has a meaning. What does it mean? Which will break down even more so whatever is being said, whatever he was trying to teach. Okay, so that was big here, studying, in this, the community here in Cleveland, studying, reading, studying, knowledge. Okay, not saying that wasn't important anywhere else, or business wasn't important anywhere else. It just was they were more business focused. Cleveland was known to be more intellectually focused. Okay. Let's keep going. So you talk about a seed of the opposite. Seed, you plant seed. When you plant a seed, something grows from it. So what do you have on each side? You have the seed of the opposite on each side. And what will happen? It will grow. Okay, whatever it is, it will grow even more. It won't just be just a seed any longer. The dot suggests that everything contains its opposite. Everything contains its opposite. Everything. So when you hear readers say masculine and feminine, or this person could be feminine, but they're more in their masculine energy, or the opposite. This person may be masculine or male, but they're more in their feminine energy. Everything contains its opposite. Okay? This is the balance. Here. All right? Between what? The forces. There must be balance. All right. Okay. So not only does everything contain its opposite, what did I just say? When the seed is planted, what happens? It grows. So if the seed is planted, the dot is a seed, and the dot of the opposite is contained in one side, and each side, then what does that mean? Once again, not only does everything contain its opposite, it also means that everything will eventually what? Become its opposite. Both forces are dynamic and in what? Perfect balance. There is no such thing, yet there is, as imperfection. Yet there is. Both forces are in balance. Wait a minute. Both forces are dynamic and in perfect balance as what? They change and become what? Its opposite. Just as night and day are in balance as what? As they progress. So I heard someone say one time, this was a long time ago, not a YouTube thing, long before I got on here the first time. What is this symbol? It's a circle, which means what? It's a wheel. It moves. It moves. Okay, it moves. All right. And as it moves, what happens? Here, the yang becomes, am I right? Yeah. The yang becomes the yin, and the yin becomes the yang as it moves. It was just stated here. The yang, the light, becomes the dark, and the dark becomes the light. How so? Because the dark is already in the light, and the light is already in the dark. It is a seed of, in the yang, you have a seed of the yin, and in the yin, you have the seed of the yang. And the seed, what does what? As I already stated, it grows. It grows and becomes, the yin seed grows and becomes the yin, the majority of the yin, yet it still has a little bit of itself, this yang, which then becomes the fullness of the light, yet it still has some of the yin inside. It becomes its opposite. But what does that mean if it becomes its opposite? Both forces are dynamic and in perfect balance as they change. Just as day and night are in balance as they progress. We can think of yang and yin as pulsations of waves of what? Energy. Like a heartbeat or like breathing in and out. Okay, so he said, for example, both forces, repeating, are dynamic and perfect balance, perfection, perfect, just as it should be. That's the way it's supposed to be. As they change, just as day and night are in balance as they progress. Now let's look at this, for example. For example, day and night are in balance as they progress. They gave examples of these opposing forces, opposing yet complementary forces. Not opposing in the sense, many people talk about their ops and all of that. No, not opposing in that sense. Or you could say opposite. Okay. Because remember, not opposing in that sense, because remember, Yang is never expected to win over yin. Yin is never expected to win over yang. A house divided against itself cannot stand. How could this be trying to outdo this, or this be trying to win over that, when in each here's the yin in the yang? But the yang cannot, try to, how did he put it? Win over the yin. Why? Because yin is in the yang. And the yin cannot be trying to win over the yang. Why? Because the yin is in the yang. Because the yang is in the yin. It's not all one or the other. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I put a video up. I did a reading on that year before last. I put it up on my community tab. You're more than welcome to watch it. It was a tarot reading. Okay. Now let's look at this. These opposite yet complementary principles. Light and dark. When does light become dark, and when does dark become light? You have day and you have night. When does night become day, and when does day become night? Okay, they'll give you a time. This is what time the sun gonna set, and this is what time the sun gonna rise. It's never the same. The time is never the same. There's no demarcation, like a hard line that says, okay, here's daytime, now we got this line that's going to separate us into night. There's no such thing. Nor the opposite. Okay, it's nighttime, now we got this demarcation line that's telling us now it's about to become day. And then all of a sudden it goes from pitch black to just white or light. Or it's light, now it's just pitch black. Because we have this light. There's no such thing. It constantly just rolls day into night, light into dark. It becomes itself what it is. Hot and cold. Okay. For example, it's a gradual change. Now you have your speaking on the sink. Let's talk about water, for example. This is how water is cold water. Okay. Water is water. Water is water. You may have something there that will heat up the water, and something there that will make it cold. Except even with water, water is water. You have your gas, your liquid, and your solid. Yet it's all what? Even the gas, it's all what? Water. Okay. Sky and earth. When does the sky become the sky and the earth become the earth? It is one. It's one. Okay. When does left become right and right become left? It's so funny. I was on the freeway the other day, and I was driving. I don't know what the hell I was driving. I can't remember, but I had the GPS on. Okay, and I thought it was so interesting because what did it say? It said, "Go, stay right." You know, it was a fork. Okay, split. Take 777, whatever the hell I was going. Go right, stay to your right. And after I stayed to my right, immediately it said, stay to your, as soon as I went to my right and drove, not long, it said, now stay, it didn't say now, stay to your left. Right became left. All on the same line. And left becomes right. You understand? Because what? It's one and the same. Now, me personally, I don't believe, well, I don't want to use that word, believe. Duality, the quality or condition of being dual, an instance of opposition or contrast between two concepts or two aspects of something, a dualism. It gives the example, the photographs capitalize on the dualities of light and dark, stillness and movement. Okay, capitalize on the dualities of light and dark, but yet it's one and the same. It's the same fucking thing. Maybe some people may say extremes of the same thing. I've heard that stated. Okay, stillness and movement, but yet they say energy, everything moves, even when it appears to be what? Still. Dual, consisting of two parts, elements, or aspects. Okay, yet the two parts we find again are the same thing. Okay, here. This is how they understood the Chinese. It said, understood what? Not its world or its circumstances, their circumstances or their culture. No, what? The universe. The universe. When does male become female? And when does female become male? Right, same, front and back. You will be in the back of someone, yet what? In the front of someone else. It's the same shit. Up and down. Up, yet this is still down to what's above it. It's the same thing. And even when I take it down, okay, it's up here. Yeah, I take it down, it is still up to what's below it. It's the same shit. Okay, it's not. It's the same thing. All right. Birth and death. There can be no resurrection. On this channel, we destroy and what? Build simultaneously. Okay. There can be no resurrection without destruction. There can be no birth without death. People, they're born, and as people are being born, people are dying. It's just continuous. It's the same thing. Okay, being born, yet dying to something at the same time. Dying to what? Well, if you're a soul, okay, where did you come from? Where did the soul come from? Dying to that world and realm, being born into this one. And then eventually dying to this world and realm physically and being born into another one, what? At the same time. It's the same thing. All right. Now this good and evil even. I was having a conversation about this years ago with someone. Not this exactly, but the whole idea of good and evil. And I had a hard time reconciling, I come from church and all of that kind of thing. I had a hard time reconciling something. So, based off what the brother was telling me. Okay. So, recently I was having another conversation with a man. Because men see things differently. Yet, let me think about that one for a second, what I want to say. But yet their view, and I'm not talking about on any particular topic, okay, yet their view, in one respect I could say, they're born of a woman. Sure. And they say scientifically all people are born, are created as women, till that one leg break off and then here come the Y chromosome, the man. Yet, what does that make him? Is he still a woman? Would you say what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe less evolved? because of what happened in utero. That may not was supposed that may not was supposed to be. That may not was supposed to be on purpose. Maybe it was an accident. Or if we get now, we can get into some deeper shit with the great cosmic mother, but I'm not going there right now. Okay, on that aspect. Okay. This is not no man bashing thing, please. Okay, but anyway. So the good and evil. So I was talking to another guy about this. And I was like, well, there's no duality. We went back and forth. He was like, yes, there is. And I'm like, no, there's no such thing. It's all the same. You know, so me and him going back and forth about it. And he's like, yes, there is. And we talked about heaven and hell. I said, it's the same thing. Heaven and hell are the exact same thing. And he said, no, they're not. And he said, hell is, you know, he gave me some examples of what he thought hell was. And I said to him, and guess what? For there are others who for them, everything that you just said was hell would be heaven. And you may not be able to reconcile that for you, because for you, and maybe a whole lot of other people, some of those things that you stated, I got the conversation right here on WhatsApp. I'm not going to look for it though. Some of those things would be hell. But understand, there are beings, entities, groups, factions, whatever you want to call them, humans, that those same exact things that you just stated would be heaven. And it is heaven. Okay? For them. So then that even takes it even further for me to say there is no such thing as duality, even with that, because why? Because we're all one. We are all one. Now, here, let me take this a little bit further. Now, let's look at Taoism, for example. Now, I'm saying we are all one. Okay. There are some schools of thought that say that all of this, everything, is God. People, everything is God. God experiencing God's self in various forms, in various thoughts, okay, various ways of life, various ways of living, through various even things. Okay. The divine or God is what? Infinite. Not just eternal. Not just forever. Has always been and will always be, but no, infinite. You find this in Hinduism. Infinite forms, infinite ways, infinity. This is God. God is neither just good nor evil. Okay. All things. Now let's look at Taoism, for example. Okay. Sometimes I'll say in a video, like I did a video on Pisces, okay, about these quote-unquote world rulers, and I was just saying, if you can name them, like the Tao, if you can name the Tao, if you can describe the Tao, then what? It ain't the Tao. You will see the Tao, it's T-A-O. The T is pronounced duh, okay? But sometimes you will see it spelled with a D, okay? But the original is the T-A-O, okay, for the Tao. So, what was I saying about, okay, let me just get back. So I would say, so if you can describe these families, whatever I said in the Pisces reading, then that ain't them. If you can describe them, it ain't them. So it's the same, like, so this is the Tao, when I was making reference to that, okay? Real quick, what is the Tao? It is not an individual thing. Now remember, we're talking from Eastern thought, not Western. Western being cultural, not so much geographical. United States of America, any place that's been colonized, for the most part. Okay. by what people may call oppressors of European. Okay. South Africa, United States of America, Australia. Okay. It is becoming just fucking global. They're just taking over every fucking thing. One way of thinking. For their one world order. But let's stick back to this. Okay. So the Tao is nameless. It has no name. Okay. It is it's not any individual thing that has a name, such as a door, a tree, a bird, a person. It cannot be named. Why? Because it doesn't have a form. It can be experienced, okay? And it can be followed by every individual thing that has a name. It can be followed by you, me, the birds, the animal, everything that has an individual name. The door, shit, anything. Okay. But what is the Tao? Okay. It is not like God in the sense that we understand God, or sometimes the way God has been taught to us as being male or female or goddess. That is not the Tao. Okay. Personality. God gonna do this, God gonna do that, the God is gonna do this, the great mother gonna do that. That's not the Tao. I'm not putting those things down. I'm telling you what is not. Okay. And no, this ain't no proselytizing, come follow. No, I'm just teaching. Okay. The Tao can be experienced. Okay, I said that. The Tao, what is it? It is the origin of everything. Of all things. All things. It is the origin of all things. All individual things are manifestations of the Tao. Now, I did use the terminology God. Why did I use that? Because I'm not looking at God in the sense that we've been taught God. He is a male sitting up there with a robe on and a beard, getting ready to cuss your ass out and send you to pit hell because you ain't do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G and got this personality. Okay. But let's keep going, okay? It says, although the Tao is the origin of nature, it is not God. Why? Because it does not have a personality. That's just really Christian, very Western. Well, even though Christianity didn't start in the West. Okay? You find that in your Abrahamic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which did not originate in the West. Okay, we know that. Okay, hopefully. Well, no, some people don't. Okay, so I don't want to speak globally like that. Okay, but anyway, it doesn't have a personality. This is interesting. I like this part though. And because what I was going to say is because you will hear that kind of talk about what God gonna do, what God ain't gonna do, what God like, what God don't like, and God gonna do this to you, and God gonna do that, all of that type of stuff. That's not Taoism. That's not the Tao. Everything just originates from the Tao. Okay. It neither cares about human beings nor dislikes them. Don't love them, don't like them, just whatever. It simply produces them. Okay. It don't have no chosen. It don't have no chosen people, no chosen group. You understand what I'm saying? It's just simply the thing from which all things originate. Okay. It only produces them along with the rest of nature. Hell, that may be even, the deities may even be, you understand? Okay? Manifestations of the Tao. Because we look at deities as the top, that's it, the all and be all, you know, the Most High God, that's it, that's the all in. Okay. Yet, where does that energy come from? Okay, I would say probably the Tao. Okay. Because of the Tao, because the Tao makes nature move the way it does, it can be called what? The way. Isn't that interesting though? What did Yeshua say? I am the way. I am the way. The truth and the life. Okay. I am the way. No man comes to the Father but by me. No man comes to God but by what? The Tao? I don't know. Okay. It would be interesting. Okay. It can be called the way or what? The rhythm. The rhythm of what? The rhythm of nature life. Okay. All right. Now, how do we experience the Tao? And this can go into something else. To experience the Tao, remember, the Tao can be experienced. But how do we experience the Tao? We must leave behind our desires for individual things. Okay, and this is very much an Eastern philosophical thought process that we find, okay, in these religions, or I call them philosophies because that's what they are. All right. Let's into that. Yeah, let's into that. That's all I wanted to share. It had been on my mind for a while about the yin and the yang. Okay. Because it's like, it's such a, the whole idea of opposition, opposing, yet not realizing and really understanding that what you oppose, when you oppose something or you choose to oppose something, person, place, thing, being, or idea, you are opposing yourself. Okay. Because this is not the end. This is not just, oh, that's the Chinese thought that they may have, or maybe they have found this particular symbol that represents this thought. Okay, with the Chinese. However, folks sure walking around with this motherfucker on their chest, or tattooed on their body. But surely this is not the only place where this yin and yang, may not be called yin and yang, the symbol, it may be another kind of symbol or something other, but where the thought process, okay, or the understanding of the universe in this way, is truly, this is not the only place on earth, okay, where that comes from. Okay, let's be realistic. Okay. Humanity is pretty much the same shit every goddamn where. People are pretty much the same every goddamn where. Nature's pretty much the same every damn where. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, all right, okay. All right. I want to do this real quick, and then I'm going to go. Or maybe I'll come back. Yeah, I'm going to come back with my next thing that I want to talk about. Okay. What time is it? I don't know, maybe later on this evening. Oh, it's kind of evening now, isn't it? Going into the evening. Or if I don't do it later tonight, maybe another day. All right. But, yes. There is no duality. There's all one. Even when... you know what? I don't watch him. What was it? Terrence Howard and his whole... a line of thinking about whatever he was talking about, the universe or whatever it was, science or whatever. But I did hear him say something. Somebody said, he said something about 1 + 1 has to equal 1 or something like that. And I didn't really go into, I was like, okay, you know, I didn't listen to it or anything like that. But I was going to say, even the two really becomes one. We just showed you. No, this is not my thought. This is ancient. This is ancient. There's no such thing as separation. In that sense, all things are one and the same. It's in the symbol itself. That is very ancient, that people walk around, they wear it, they tattoo it on their bodies, and so on and so forth. Okay. Some things it's hard to reconcile or believe or understand because we live in a world where it's just lies permeate. You understand? It's just made up of lies. It's just not real. It's not true. But even in that, guess what? Because when I was talking to my friend, when we were talking about, we were having a little debate about, like, there is no duality. And he's like, yes, there is, blah, blah, this, that, and other. I said, there is no duality. But at the same time, there is. Now, you say, well, you say there ain't no duality, then how can there be? Because it's all one. Because there isn't, but yet there is a belief that there is. And the belief in and of itself can make it be, whether it is or it isn't. Some people say that this ain't real when we go to that this is all a dream when we go to sleep, that's what's real. And I can believe that shit based off of some experiences that I have had. So what makes this real if it's a dream? Is it my dream? Is it just my dream? And I've created all of you and all of this in my fucking dream. Isn't there something about Krishna having a dream and dreaming up this world and realm? I think, I'm not, if you follow Hindu and you know it, don't be upset, but I think I've seen something like that about, in one of Joseph Campbell's, a video. Well, I used to teach one of my class. When I used to teach my class, was a video I showed about Joseph Campbell talking about it. He spoke on it briefly. Okay. Is it your dream? And you created all of us and all of this in your dream. It's like I was watching Yellow Jackets, and they had this thing where they ran into this little area in this cave or whatever, and it was a gas, and each three girls had their individual dream, but yet they all came together. And the girl looked, she said, "Am I in your dream or are you in my dream?" I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? But for real. Okay. So, you know, if this is my dream and only my dream, have I made it real? And it's just a dream. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that you do. For those that don't, then that's okay. You simply don't. But for those that do, you do. Now, what do you do with that information? What do you do with the information? Okay. I can't tell you what to do with it. But it's here for a reason and a purpose. Because it could just simply be, and it not be written anywhere, or taught anywhere, or represented at all in anything. It just simply just be. Okay. All right. That's all I have for now. All right. You all have favor. Peace.